Hanoi girls. Where to meet girls in Hanoi. Hanoi girls and Vietnamese girls in general are quite possibly the sexiest ladies in Southeast Asia, but even with Hanoi girls being pretty damn traditional for the most part, it will be hard to have many one-night stands with them. You need to put at least little bit of effort into bed one of them. If you want to travel to a new town such as Hanoi and just talk to randoms and take them back to your hotel and have sex with them, Hanoi should be avoided. It's a very uncommon thing to happen. However, if you want to try meeting lovely single ladies that aren't out on the dick every night of the week, then meeting single girls in Hanoi and finding one of the most beautiful loyal women you can ever meet, then it is definitely worth coming here to Hanoi. If you do not speak any Vietnamese at all, that is okay. Most nice girls will want to at least try to practice their English and will love to have a foreigner to talk with and try and learn from. Hanoi girls are not so good at speaking English, and most guys that travel here don't know any Vietnamese at all. One thing about Vietnam is that Vietnamese people in general usually don't mix with foreigners and leave them alone. In the Philippines or Thailand, however, you will see a foreigner with a local lady walking around kissing and holding hands, going on dates, doing normal relationship things even if they've only known each other for a few hours. In Hanoi and most of Vietnam, that is very rarely the case. They don't downright dislike foreigners, they just like to prefer spending time with their own people. People they share common culture with, a common language and all the other nuances of being the same. So where to meet single girls in Hanoi during the day? Vietnamese dating sites. This is almost a sure thing. The Hanoi and Vietnamese women are on there for one reason and one reason only: to meet and hook up with foreigners. Meeting Hanoi girls during the day. In Hanoi, almost all foreigners and expats spend their time staying and spending time in the Old Quarter, which is an area of Hanoi surrounded by great restaurants, cheap hotels, guest houses, but the best thing of all is there are loads of Airbnb condos for rent. You can rent a mansion for the same price as a decent hotel room. It sure impresses the ladies when you find you cannot bring them back to your hotel unless you are married legally. Because Hanoi has such a huge coffee culture where it seems every girl in town is always going and sitting in coffee shops, this should be your target of where to start out. If the girl is sitting by herself, ask her a silly question such as, "Do you know where this street is?" or "Do you know how I get here?" And ask a very obvious question, and oftentimes that breaks the ice and she will invite you to sit with her or even guide you to these places herself. If she starts to guide you to the place you asked about, this is your chance to get as much game in on her as possible and hope for a dinner later, or ask her to show you other areas of the city. It's almost guaranteed to work if you smile a lot and act a little dumb. Even if it's not your first time in town, it's a great way to meet women. More great places to meet Hanoi girls in the day is at the parks in town. Same as before, make sure you are nicely dressed, cleanly shaven, smile a lot and act a little lost like a puppy dog, and most will approach you and ask if you need help. Smile, and speak slowly. You will soon have a winning formula up your sleeve after a few rejections this way. Hanoi girls do not really hang out in shopping malls such as they do in the Philippines, but you can always try and hit up the local ones, Hanoi Square or Trang Tien Plaza. Not much chance to pick up there personally. Meeting single girls in the Hanoi nightlife. If you are in the Old Quarter, then you will be around a load of great nightlife and restaurants. Hanoi locals and most Vietnamese do food exceptionally good. That is why the favorite place in the world for famous chef and TV star Anthony Bourdain is Vietnam. Try any Vietnamese restaurant you see and there is a great chance it will be quality food. A meal for two with drinks will set you back about $5 USD if that. A pretty good nightclub located in the Old Quarter is the Dragonfly Bar Lounge. Some other good nightclubs around town are Funky Buddha Club and Infinity. Don't expect to get one-night stands from these clubs. Just try and collect as many phone numbers, line contacts, and WeChat accounts you can collect and go from there as days progress. Most Hanoi girls are going to be loads better at reading and writing English than they are at speaking it, so the dating sites are a great way to get to know someone for a few hours or days or weeks or months before you take them on a date. Many might be shy to talk in public, but in the safety of the online dating world, anything goes. They will definitely target you rather than the other way around. If you do message them on Vietnam Cupid, they are signing up to the site for a reason, right? And that reason is to meet guys. Foreign guys. Just be a nice guy, not a freak. You would be surprised how many girls' phones I have seen, and there's hundreds of men sending messages daily asking for sex shows on cam, naked pictures, etc. You get the point, and ask them some simple questions. Then eventually, when it feels right, invite her out on a date. Don't expect to have sex the first time or even the third time. This isn't a good city for casual sex. Hanoi girls don't give it up easily, especially to foreigners. But you can find a good, honest, sexy Vietnamese girlfriend here if you are willing to put in the hard yards. Check out the Hanoi girls on Vietnam Cupid. If you like what you see, register and start messaging them. If you do not see what you like, it didn't cost you anything, so you haven't lost anything. Good luck meeting single girls in Hanoi. This is not a place to have sex with as many different girls as you can in the fastest time possible. You are better off traveling to the easiest cities for that in the Philippines or Thailand than Hanoi, Vietnam. Hopefully this post on where to meet single girls in Hanoi can help you to find the right one.
should be afraid.